one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. This gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado,
free smoke.
Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver, pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience.
You know, as a kid, you know, I thought my passion was football. But being taken away from the game, I realized my passion was playing football. Yo, that motherfucker Jameis is a fucking GOAT, bro. I love Jameis Winston, bro. Dead ass. I don't like that people be trying to use Jameis as like a look at this idiot type of thing. That really does bother me. Like, I'm looking at these comment sections and people basically calling this man an idiot, a dummy, and all this type of shit, man. It's a very interesting world we live in where strangers just feel the need and got the gall on the internet to call other strangers people they don't know that they see in the public eye. You see, man, these athletes do their job all the time, so you feel like you know them or something. And that give you the right to talk to these boys crazy and these women crazy. It's wild. Got people questioning that man's IQ. Dude's talking about he got nothing but atoms just floating around in his brain. Like, boy's going nuts, man. And I'm like, I already know they wouldn't tell this man this shit to his face. But how is it that people feel confident tweeting this shit? And I figured that out quickly also. Because when you continue to scroll, that one ignorant comment become 2. Then those 2 ignorant comments become 3. Then those 3 ignorant comments become 4. And those 4 ignorant comments become 6, 10, 20, 30, 40. And it's just a non-stop comment section of ignorance. And because ignorance loves company, because people always tell you misery loves company, ignorance loves company too, because ignorance surrounded by ignorance gives ignorance the confidence to be even more ignorant than ignorant already is. And that's a shame. And one of my biggest things, I don't understand why people find such joy in putting other people down. You know? It's strange. Because I don't know how people don't look at those Jameis Winston clips and just smile like, man, how that don't make your day better? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you look at that shit and be like, oh, what a dumbass? Like, what? Like, I saw a dude in the comment section try to compare this dude to the Cash Me Outside girl, bro. You cannot be serious. Like, bro, the Cash Me Outside girl is not playing NFL quarterback, bro. Like, what? And you know something else is that you see these athletes struggle on TV, and now you got these dumbasses thinking that, oh, just because they struggle, they sorry. So, you know, that make them, I'm on the same level as them because they suck against other professional athletes. I saw Skip Bayless say the other day he thought he could have completed some passes against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, bro, in that playoff game against the Bills. Because this man was talking about he not sold on Josh Allen, but this the same dude that ride for Baker Mayfield on a regular basis. You can't make that shit up. I mean, you really can't make that shit up. And they march this bozo out here on TV every day. He got one of the prime spots in sports media, sports television. It's a shame. And I saw KD tell Nick Wright, of course he called him Nicky, you know, that anybody could do his job. And I agree to an extent, bro, because these dudes not like these. For one, these dudes will have y'all thinking that they smart because they know all these type of facts and stuff that you guys probably don't know, but that's because they have people hired and paid to do that, to look up those type of stats. Hell, to an extent, they create these fucking stats just to have these stats ready on go when they could you imagine if they was doing this and they didn't have these type of teams they have behind them? So you not no less smarter than these motherfuckers is. You just don't got producers and whatnot in your ears at all times telling you the stats of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But these dudes, man, they this shit based off of biasness, bro. So I agree with what Katie said to Nick, cause Nick, the motherfucker so biased, bro. Somebody could do his job. You could take him out and put another LeBron James sicko fan in there, and he could do exactly what Nick Wright doing. But what I will say is, motherfucker seem to have been right about them motherfucking Dallas Mavericks. I thought he was on crack when this dude was talking about Dallas Phoenix series was gonna be a good series, and here we fucking are. 7-game series. But before we talk about that, got to talk about the 2 series that happened last night, because I haven't even given my I have been giving predictions as far as who I think winning and all that shit. I haven't been giving game by game predictions because, I don't care to guess the game by game prediction, bro. I just care about the overall outcome of the fucking series. Either way, the Warriors finished off the Grizzlies last night, and the Boston Celtics pushed the series with Milwaukee to a Game 7, and that's the series I want to start off talking about. Jason Tatum had a fucking game. And I want to say something, man, because I was looking at this dude, because I look at a lot of different shows, and, I don't want to say I really listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts. I told you, I don't have no interest in us, because this might seem like a podcast right now, but I don't have an interest in, this not going to be a podcast forever. This is going to be a show. Obviously, it'll probably be spread around like where people can listen to it like it's a podcast, but I don't have an intention of just doing a podcast. So I do watch different type of no, I really don't watch any podcasts. Most of the things I watch is more so shows, like sports shows and shit. And I just like seeing how people, like the different type of facts, the different type of angles they break it down at. Because you can't just watch ESPN because they regurgitating the same shit all week. But I was watching this dude break down the Warriors game. And I'm not necessarily talking about that game, but how he broke down Klay Thompson. The fact that Klay Thompson never lost the audacity. Meaning, like, he still had the audacity to take this shot, that shot, even when he's struggling. Because he remembered who he is and what he can do when he has the audacity. And that's Jason Tatum. And, it reminded me of how I was so hard on Steph Curry. When in actuality, the problem would have been if Steph Curry, obviously you want Steph to hit those shots, but sometimes the shot not falling. And Steph Curry done hit big shots throughout the entirety of this series. Like, in a way, Steph Curry actually was the second best player when Ja got hurt. And in some ways, he was the best player in this series with how he was able to close out games and whatnot. And obviously, you take Steph off of this team as a whole. It's just a different team. But the fact that these dudes have quick memory, like Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, dudes who done had bad shooting performances in the playoffs this year so far, but they continue to shoot, bro. Like, these is not dudes who are ultra efficient like a Kevin Durant or a Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is calling Giannis efficient compared to them dudes not really fair, based off of how Klay, Steph, and Jason Tatum get the majority of their buckets. But, the fact that these dudes can go to the next shot, like they continue to never lose the audacity. Because the real bad part would have been if Steph Curry stopped shooting, if Jason Tatum stopped shooting, if Klay Thompson stopped shooting. That's the real problem. Because I was thinking, like, these dudes do get here to this point because of the audacity that they carry. You know what I'm saying? The audacity to dare to be as great as these dudes done become and have been. The audacity to take the shots that they've taken to get to them to the point that they are in their careers. The audacity to do some of the things that they've done to get to this point in their careers. The fact that they never lose that. They can really go from shot to shot like without thinking about it. Because Steph Curry struggled early in that Warriors game. And Jason Tatum didn't shoot the ball particularly great. I mean, I continue to say I just do not give a fuck about shooting percentage on here. Like, I know it will be shows. And, you know, I'll probably eventually be working with people on here who give a big fuck about shooting percentage. I just don't. Like, I really don't. Because if I have a player on my team, this is why I don't care about shooting percentages. I can have a player on my team that's a great player, right? And if he care about shooting percentages, he not going to take certain shots. And he going to take certain shots. Like, but I will... The problem won't be the shots he take when we playing great. Because when we playing great, he'll probably be getting good looks and whatnot. My problem is when everything is going bad. If he start to shoot the ball bad, he'll probably tighten up and stop shooting. It's a shot right there that he probably would have launched. He's not going to launch that now because of his percentages. If he had taken 5 shots and hit 4 of them, he probably would have took that shot. But because he done took 5 shots and hit 1 of them, he's not going to take that shot now. He waiting for a dead center, like a great look. So that's the problem you have when you have dudes that's kind of like basically stat sheet watching to see how they, or can't, not really stat sheet watching. It's just dudes who worrying about their shooting percentages. I remember when people used to get mad when NBA players didn't throw the ball up at the end of the half because it was hurting NBA players' shooting percentages. And I remember at one point in time, I can't remember who it was like, yo, that shot shouldn't affect NBA players' shooting percentages. And then I remember once NBA players started to say fuck it and started to shoot that shot again, motherfuckers started being like, yo, they did this, but the half court shot affected their shooting percentages. So it just kind of feel like that all worked out in the end. Just honestly. But the fact that Curry, Klay, Steph, and these guys, I said Curry and Steph, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all these dudes can struggle shooting and still, you know, keep shooting, bro. That's big because more times than not, Jason Tatum and Curry have had rough games in this playoff series. But like I said, the biggest problem is if they start. Klay done been off and on since he came back. But I told you, bro, I'm hella lenient for Klay because, like, bro, y'all give Joel Embiid excuses every year. This man Klay legitimately been out for 2 years, yo. Like, you're not finna see me get on here and shit on Klay. It's just not gonna happen. Plus, I love Klay. And obviously, I love Curry too, but listen, man, Klay been hurt for 2 years. Klay could have struggled this entire series, and I wasn't gonna complain. Obviously, I would have wanted him to play better, but you know what I'm saying, what Klay doing right now is crazy. I mean, the man balled out last night, and this man, like I said, he just came back from that 2-year injury, bro, where he had that one injury in the finals, then had another injury right when he think he finna come back. That can do a lot to your mental. That can really fuck you up. Like, I remember when I first heard the news about that shit, I was like, man, I really hope Klay got, and I was sure he did, not knowing Klay or nothing, but I was like, I really hope his support system fire around him because that's the type of injury that really fuck you up because you just got hurt in the finals and you thinking to yourself, man, if I didn't get hurt, KD didn't get hurt, we definitely win the finals. But then you see your team struggle, and then when you come back, you think you're getting healthy to come back and help them stop struggling. Just when you on the precipice of coming back, boom, another season-ending injury. That shit could really fuck you up, man. That shit could really fuck you up if you ain't got a strong mental and strong people in your corner, man. So, shout out Klay. But, like I was saying, the fact that they didn't lose the audacity, Jason Tatum, that's why this series is what it is right now. Because Boston, man, I'm telling you, bro, Boston, shout out to Boston. I was looking at Boston in this game, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, Boston done been together. They play like a college team that's done been together for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, where most of the dudes, the nucleus of the team, done been together for a while. I really think Golden State made it cool to keep your players and build with them instead of giving up on them as early as some teams used to give up on players to try to trade them for already proven guys. Because now teams want to say, like, yo, if we can get our nucleus to where Golden State got their nucleus together and we just add a key piece. That's why Boston is so aggressive in trying to bring over that last superstar to help with what they already have. Because they trying to pull a Golden State, man. People can talk about it, but they know Golden State did that shit the slick way. They lucked up with the Curry contract because of his injuries and whatnot. But ultimately, and Under Armour. But ultimately, the fact that they had Curry, you draft Klay, draft Dre, you sign those role players and whatnot through the years, and you had them developing with the team. You get Steph. To me, Steph Curry was the one that really flipped it on his head for him. He was the key that unlocked it all. And then obviously the dynasty help was because of KD coming over. But I think that's what teams trying to do now. So you hold on to those players you draft way longer than you normally. Because, like, I could see if the Golden State run never happened, it's a good chance that Marcus Smart is traded away from Boston. Or don't re-sign with Boston at some point in time. Because the organization probably don't feel as strong about him. But because of a player like a Draymond Green, showing how important a player like Draymond could be to winning, to a culture, and to championships, now you would prefer to give a player like a Marcus Smart way longer time than you normally would if if Draymond Green and the Warriors don't happen. In my opinion. And I'm not saying Marcus Smart wouldn't have a career if not for Draymond Green. I don't want people thinking I'm saying that. That's wild. Marcus Smart, a damn great player. I'm more so saying look at the teams that's willing to develop. Look at how many people done said that the Celtics should trade away Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart and break up that trio, that duo, yada, yada, yada. Instead, they bring Al Horford back. They continue to grow with this group and other dudes, keep putting other pieces around them. Listen, I agree with what Boston's game plan done been. I agree you shouldn't trade neither one of these dudes. Now, will they end up winning championships and shit like that? Who knows? Who knows? But this is a good thing that Boston got. The coach is great. I think really what could help Boston, ultimately, because obviously as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown continue to grow, the better this, and Marcus Smart grow, the better this team will be. I think what really put Boston over the top is the same thing that put Golden State over the top, the same thing that put a lot of championship teams over the top. Great role players. You get you some great role players coming off of that Boston bench, and they already have some good ones over there, but you could get like Jay Crowder type players, Patrick Beverly type players. Mind you, I really want Golden State to go get Patrick Beverly in the offseason if he is a free agent. Because Patrick Beverly is exactly what the Golden State Warriors need. Like, he would basically be the new Andre Iguodala for that team. Now, that might have been a bad comparison, to be honest with you, when I really think about it. But he do. He would be a veteran. He can hit shots for you. But what I want him there for is his defensive presence, his energy on defense, and his energy as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, Patrick Beverly's energy would be phenomenal with the Warriors. You get that motherfucking Draymond Green on the same team, good Lord have mercy. I will. Now that's some tickets that you gotta pay front row to see. That's a show that you want to see. Him and Draymond going at another team, good Lord have mercy, bro. They had dudes out there trying to fight them, man. I would love to see that. I think that's the type of moves, though, that Boston would end up having to make. But Boston, listen, Boston very well could win this series because they head back to Boston. Like, Boston just went on the road and picked this win up in Milwaukee, bro. That's what I'm saying. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and these boys is growing, and Marcus Smart, these boys growing up right before our eyes, and they've been doing that for the last couple years, but we seeing them finally get over those humps right now. And even if they lose this series, I still think this was a got over the hump type of situation because, bro, they went into Milwaukee, and put this in perspective. The Dallas Mavericks and Phoenix Suns series is about to go 7. No team done won a road game. The home team done won every game. The Memphis Golden State series, Golden State won every single one of their home games. It's very hard to go into another team's building and beat them at their own in their own building. And Milwaukee just lost at home with an MVP caliber player, the best player in the world in my opinion, in Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Boston went into there and beat them boys with their season on the line, elimination game, and Jason Tatum went stupid. Them boys stepped up and got it done. Marcus Smart, big time play down the stretch. Like, Boston is getting over that hump. Like, to me, it's a championship hump that you got to get over, but it's also a hump right now that they getting over, which is a maturity hump. Like, they are growing up. They are realizing we are no longer young, up-and-coming, promising young guys now. No. We done been all-stars multiple times. We done had multiple accolades on our resume at this point in time. We are here. We have to prove. We have to win and prove we are here. We can't lose this series in 5, 6. We got to take this team to 7 games and either win this series or give every fuck. And mind you, this could have been over by now because they should have won the last game before Game 6. They should have won Game 5. I don't know how they folded like that at the end of that game, but or in that fourth quarter of that game. But when you do, and listen, I said it before, it's so interesting looking at Boston because they a team that's led by no champions, and they have beaten a team that was led by 2 champions in Brooklyn, and now they are on the precipice of beating another team led by champions in Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. If Boston win this will be hella impressive. Hella impressive. And then they would have to go up against another team that's led by a man who done got to a championship. So, man, if Boston can pull this off, that would be fucking, oh my goodness. And what a game. For Giannis. Yo, at one point in time, this motherfucker had 44 of the team's points. The team only had 90-something points, bro. The other players had 48 points. I'm like, sheesh. Like, I ain't gonna lie. It's kind of shocking when teams don't show up at home. When teams struggle at home in the playoffs, that's kind of weird because usually that's when your role players play best is when they in their own building. So that's pretty wild. That is pretty wild. But Boston, man, they fight, bro. And what's crazy is Boston have 3 dudes, bro. If they like I said, if they get over this hump right here, this maturity hump, which I already think they done got over it. They realize we can win games. We can win a champion. We can be a championship roster, championship team. We have the talent, we have the skill, we have the players, we have the chemistry, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the coaching, the staff, everything. So, Boston, bro, Milwaukee better watch out. Because now it's looking like the Chris Middleton thing could hurt you in this Game 7. Because you never know how these Game 7s play out. But also, it's in Boston, bro. Boston, I just can imagine, is going to be a tough place to play. Especially for a Game 7. Game 7 in the Boston Garden. Oh, my goodness. With that motherfucking leprechaun. Oh, my goodness. Hey, good luck to Milwaukee. But, yeah, I imagine Giannis is going to have a big game. But like I said, these dudes just struggled at home. That's usually where your role players and whatnot play good. So, And listen, they done played good on the road in Boston, but man, it's tough to ask these dudes to give you another good game on the road, Game 7 in Boston. It'd be different if you was asking them to do this in Milwaukee. I'm ultra impressed that Boston, and I understand Boston is the higher seed. I get that, but Milwaukee is the defending championship team. Even without Chris Middleton, they done looked like a championship caliber team. Now, I agree with the people who done said they done asked Giannis to do too much, even though I think this is what Giannis is. And Giannis young, bro. I think sometimes y'all just forget that dudes are superstars for a reason. And at times you have to be even more of a superstar than you normally have to be. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, bro. I wish y'all stopped giving out all these fucking excuses for everything. But this gonna be a great Game 7. I can't fucking wait. My mama called me today and was like, yo, what channel was them games on? Because her cable wasn't working at the crib. Like, they got to fix her, they done fucked up her package or whatever on what her channels she get. So now they done stripped so many of her channels, and she been sick, so she couldn't get that fixed right now. And so where she at my aunt's house now. And so my aunt got those channels and shit. So she want to see that. She got to see that. She said she want to see both of them Game 7s tomorrow, or what time is it? It's 2:22. So today, she got to see them. She got to see them games. Got to. Now, moving on to the second game of that night. Warriors. Listen, man, I understand there's a lot of people out there for some reason mad that the Warriors moved on in this game. And I realize a lot of people have been talking about the Warriors as if they lost this series for some reason. It's crazy. I haven't seen too many people bring up that the Warriors haven't lost at home in the playoffs yet. That's weird also. And for some reason, Kendrick Perkins is calling the teams that the Warriors play trash. I don't know what Kendrick Perkins' beef with the Warriors is, but you know, when you're a sports analyst, you don't have to be professional. You can be biased. You can hold grudges and say a whole bunch of nonsense and get paid for it. It just is what it is. But I'm gonna let Kendrick Perkins carry the hell on, as he say. Either way, in this game, another good game. The Memphis Grizzlies. I've been saying it. Obviously, I've been raving about them. I think they're gonna be a problem for a long time. The Memphis Grizzlies are going to be an interesting team because you got to pay Desmond Bane eventually, Ja Morant, Brandon Clark. What's my man who balled out last night? I cannot believe I forgot this man's name. And he was the one talking a lot of trash, like Dylan Brooks. They got a lot of people on that team that could get paid pretty good contracts elsewhere. So it'll be interesting if they can find a way to keep all these dudes together. But while that's not an issue, they got to figure a way. Because obviously a lot of people will be like, oh, this series would have been different if Ja Morant played. And then them same people, the same ones that be like, well, look, they blew him out because look at the record without Ja. So, you know, you really can't win with these people. But I realize this team is a great team, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. I think what you add for this team next year, I think they got to add some veteran leadership on this team, man. Some veterans that done been there, done that, know how to close the game. I say it again, a Jay Crowder type of individual, a Patrick Beverly type of individual. You like players who done been there, done that. Maybe they done had playoff runs with good teams before. They done had deep playoff runs with good teams before. These are the type of teams those are the type of players that I think Memphis need to start investing in, because the way they couldn't close games and the way they struggled to close games down the stretch, I think that a veteran type of player. Now listen, I understand they tried to do it before with Andre Iguodala, but that's just different. His heart was still in Golden State. But most players ain't gonna be like that. So I think that Memphis, if they can find a way to bring over like one or two great veteran players off of the bench that still can give you either like defense or great scoring off of the bench or something, I think that would be phenomenal for Memphis. Like, because they got the young talent already and they have the nucleus. This is where you start to add those fill-in pieces that solidify the team, that can give you great minutes off of the bench and whatnot. Like, you already have Tyus Jones. That's already a great key piece coming off of your bench. But now you can add a defensive type of guy like the Iman Shumperts of the world. The Gerald Greens, not Gerald Green. What's my man name? He was with Boston. I can't believe I forgot his name right now. But, you know, Danny Green, a dude who played defense. Shout out to Danny Green, man. I hope my man all right. I know he tore his ACL because big flopping ass Joel Embiid decided to throw his big ass on him. That's what I'm saying, man. Yo, I don't want to seem like I hate Joel Embiid or nothing like that, bro, because I don't hate Joel Embiid. I'm not a fan of Joel Embiid, the player. His play just ain't my cup of tea. But the NBA got to start doing something about this type of flopping, bro. Like, I already said that I don't mind flopping to an extent because it is a part of the game. Joel Embiid's flopping is just otherworldly in my opinion, bro. Like, his flopping is dangerous to this point. And that's the thing. When flopping, that's the problem people had with flopping. Because they like, for one, oh man, it's you calling fouls on this bullshit. But then people was like, bro, people can get hurt with this flopping. And now look at Joel Embiid, big 300-pound ass flopping around. And now he done fucked up Danny Green's ACL, bro. All because this man want to flop around for calls and shit. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The man just cost Danny Green a year of his career. I'm seeing people on Twitter saying that might have cost Danny Green his entire career. What the fuck? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be out for the entirety of next year, but I'm pretty sure he will be playing again after that, unless he just chooses to retire. But, bro, the NBA got to start finding motherfuckers heavily for this bullshit, bro. I don't care if you flop and hurt your own team, bro. You got to get, bro, that's a problem. This big motherfucker 300-pounder, bro, throwing his big-ass body around on the court and shit like that, bro. That's ridiculous. That's not safe. But, as I was saying, the, Memphis, I don't even remember what I was saying because I got so heated about that. But, yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying because that shit just, because I thought about it, bro, and I'm just like, bro, this big motherfucking man throwing this. We was talking about Memphis getting, veteran type players to help fill the thing, but yeah, bro, that shit really did bother me because I saw the plan. I'm just like, man, this big goof motherfucker. Man. Either way, the Danny Green, before Joel Embiid threw his whole fucking body on his on the man's ACL on his leg, would have been a great signing or a great type of player for Memphis. And plus, I just think Memphis is a vibe right now. Like, people would love to play for this team right now, I think. As long as they don't do that goofy shit that Utah did where they switched up their whole team swagger, the bright colors turned dark, and then it was the ugly color combination. Like, you know what I was thinking the other day? Another team that done pulled this same shit where they done fucked up great logos, great colors and shit and turned them into ugly logos, ugly colors. It's the Denver Nuggets, bro. Why would you darken those powder blue and yellow goldish type jerseys, bro? Like, why would you darken those up? Even the dark version of that, like the dark blue, still had the powder blue and yellows on it. Those was hard that Carmelo used to wear. These jerseys that the Nuggets wear now are hideous, bro. They're hideous. As are the Utah Jazz's shit, bro. So as long as Memphis don't pull that goofy shit and fuck they whole vibe up by darkening the colors and shit, like, and making it ugly, because it's probably not even making the colors dark that fuck it up. But when you a team that's got bright colors and you make it work so well, that's like if the Chargers went from the powder blues to some dark ass royal blues or something. Like, why would you take away this bright powder blue that you make look so clean and give us this ugly shit. Like, why would Utah get rid of those beautiful blue jerseys, those light blues, and those I call it the icy blues, the beautiful purples and shit, for this shit? Makes absolutely no sense, bro. No sense, bro. This is why Utah and Denver are what they are. Because they decided to go, like, bro, why, when what you trying to figure out is the floor talent, would you, and you already got like the team logo and the colors and shit fixed, and then you just go in there and add yourself a new problem by fucking that shit up, bro. I just don't understand that. But let's talk about the games that happen tomorrow, bro. So we was just talking about Memphis, and I know I didn't spend a whole bunch of time talking about Memphis and Golden State. I'll spend more time talking about that later. I really don't feel like talking about, like, it's just not ringing around in my head like I want to talk about Boston, your cousin from Boston. I want to talk about Boston. I want to talk about Milwaukee. But I also want to talk about Luka Legend and CP3. Listen, CP3 done had 4 rough games. We talked about that. And now we headed into a game 7. Listen, my homie just cannot accept that if they lose this series, it's because of the Mavericks. It's the refs. It's a conspiracy that the NBA want Luka to be great. I'm just ready for him to pull out all the stops tomorrow if they do lose. Now, I don't think that the Phoenix Suns are going to lose this series or this game tomorrow. I am as shocked as everybody that's not a Dallas Maverick fan or a Chris Paul hater that this isn't at a game 7. That's crazy. Like, none of the teams done been able to win on the other opposing team's home. So no team has won on the road yet this series. So, hey, if it holds true the way that's been, then that means Phoenix is going to win because they have the home court. And this is truly what you work all season for situations like this. When you on the road, when you're in a 7-game series and you got that game 7, you want that on your home court. Now, if Scott Foster is the referee for this game, it didn't matter where Chris Paul played this bitch at. He ain't getting no favoritism calls or none of that shit anyways. And of course, the NBA would throw Scott Foster in a game 7 that Chris Paul is competing in because that's the NBA. They would pull that. And Devin Booker then balled out at home. So I'm expecting Devin Booker to have a good game at home. But what I will say is this. Phoenix doesn't look real beatable the last couple games. And they don't look to have an answer for Luka Doncic right now. The only answer they have for him is him missing his own shots. Like, Luka make life so much harder for himself. He killed him inside. He'll start taking step back threes for some reason. Luka is a very confusing player at times. But when you as great as Luka Doncic is, you can be that confusing. So I think the greatest defense to Luka Doncic this series has been Luka or the offense of Phoenix. Because when they get on the roll and they scoring the ball real great, which they haven't really had a great scoring output since that, they haven't really scored the ball or made it look as easy since that fourth quarter they had. But and listen, I knew they was going to take Cam Johnson out of the, Cam Payne out of the lineup because of how absolutely atrocious he done played throughout the playoffs. And I feel like if he didn't play in some of these games and Landry Shamet, which I don't understand why Landry Shamet didn't have playing time anyways unless he was traded over here mid-season or something. Like, Landry Shamet is a better point guard or a better player than Cameron Payne, especially with Cameron. Like, Cameron Payne's jump shot is just completely broken right now. For one, it's a hideous jump shot. But for two, that motherfucker can't hit that shit for nothing right now. Now, a huge problem that Phoenix is going to have to fix if they want any chance of winning this game tomorrow is these fucking turnovers, man. Phoenix, it feel like every loss that they done had, whether it be because of far too many calls by the refs in a row, that's killing momentum and putting the Mavericks at the line, Or it's just a whole bunch of fucking turnovers by CP3 and the other dudes just turning the ball over left and right. Live ball turnovers that the Mavs is just getting easy buckets off of. Like, that's got to change for this team. Like, if they come out there and turn the ball over the way they've been turning the ball over the last couple games, the Mavericks are going to win this series. Like, the Mavericks are going to win the game if Phoenix turn the ball. And you know what's so wild about Phoenix turning the ball over the way they do? Golden State's Achilles is the fact that they turn the ball over so much. Like, Golden State can be killing, and out of nowhere, they just start turning the ball over left and fucking right. And you like, what the fuck is going on? Remember back when Golden State had that absolute killer team and they turned the ball over so much, and then the third quarter came and they wasn't turning the ball over and they just be hitting shots and shit, and then they build the lead or come back from a big lead? Now, obviously, they're an older team now, different players, different points of their careers and shit now, but boy, when you turn the ball over as much as Golden State and Phoenix have, it's very hard to come back in games and win them. Now, Golden State is a championship team 3 times over, so they understand how to. They done competed and been in these situations on the highest levels. They done been in these situations, multiple times, so they understand how to manage these situations. But you still never want to play from behind or have all these turnovers that's costing you points. Phoenix, I mean, good Lord, it feel like, and I'm shocked that Chris Paul been turning the ball over the way he is, because Chris Paul really not a dude who turned the ball over. He is not a high turnover dude. But boy, I fucking thought I was seeing Westbrook out there for a second in some of these fucking games. I mean, the way they guarding Chris Paul is kind of brilliant. Now, granted, like I said, I think they've been getting away with fouling Chris Paul. But if the ref's going to allow you to play as physical as they done allowed these dudes to play with Chris Paul, then hey. Now, I don't agree. I don't think they done allowed the Luka to be played as aggressive. Like, in Game 6 of his series, Luka should have picked up his 5th foul on Devin Booker when he jumped at Devin Booker. But for some reason, they reversed that call and made it a jump ball. That was so very clearly a foul. Luka did not jump straight up. He jumped into Devin Booker, and y'all changed that call. Took 2 points away from Devin Booker. I do not understand some of these just blatant, stupid fucking calls that I've seen in this series. But like I said, to me, this series has been the biggest factors in this series to me has been home court, the refereeing, and turnovers, and Luka Doncic. Those have been the 4 biggest, or 5, however many points I just said. Those have been the biggest factors in this series, in my opinion. And I know Devin Booker done been good at home, but if I had to add another one, he would be the other one. And if I had to add another one, it'd probably be Chris Paul. Actually, Chris Paul's struggle should probably be high on that list, actually. Because, I mean, man, if Chris Paul could have given them anything, they probably already done with this series. But he done had 4 bad games in a row. But I do not expect that Chris Paul will struggle tomorrow. I think Chris Paul is going to, 37 years old now. But I truly do. Now, I saw somebody the other day say, every time Chris Paul ball out, it's like, oh, man, look at what this 36, 37-year-old doing. But every time he struggles, like, oh, well, come on, man, he 36, 30. And I agree with the dude. We can't keep doing that. You can't have it both ways. Now, I'm not somebody who do that anyways, but I am somebody who don't really critique or criticize Chris Paul too much. So I actually am somebody who do that. But I do get the people who get irritated with that. But I just think Dallas been playing great defense on him, or at least the way they've been defending him, how they've been hounding him, not really allowing him to set up their offense and get into a rhythm and whatnot. I think that's been a big reason as to why. And anytime they feel like he get it going, they go back to that game plan of hounding him and turning up the pressure on him. I think that's been a smart plan because Chris Paul is the nucleus to this offense, bro. He make everything go around. I hope I use that word right. He is like the cornerstone of their offense. So if he can't get it going, then it's going to be kind of hard for everybody else to get going. And so I think that's one of the reasons because to me, you talk about Dallas and the other dudes stepping up making shots. Man, Dallas and these other motherfuckers been stepping up. I'm saying Dallas like Dallas is a person. These dudes on Dallas been stepping up on defense. the rotations, the picking up they opposing man, rolling when dudes roll and cut to the basket, they have a body right there to pick it up. Like, to me, Dallas done made a lot of improvements in this series, and to me, like I said before, to me, it's a credit to Jason Kidd, bro. That motherfucker Jason Kidd is an animal. It's a dog. Jason Kidd is a great head coach. I already done went on my rant before about how I don't think he get enough credit for how good a coach he actually is. But Jason Kidd be having these boys ready to play, man. He really do. And the adjustments, man, like, good Lord have mercy. That's why I don't understand. And there's no shots at Frank Vogel, because I like Frank Vogel. I'm not one of them, what have he done, Frank? I remember how great Frank Vogel was coaching up those Pacer teams with a young Paul George, bro, against a great Miami Heat team. And how he had that team and those, how he had them competing every year against those teams and whatnot. But I thought Jason Kidd would have been the better hire. Now, I wasn't mad when they hired Frank Vogel because, like I said, I have a lot of respect for Frank Vogel. I don't think Frank Vogel was a bad coach. I think he got dealt a bad hand, but this is the NBA and shit happens. That's how this shit happened. I mean, that's how it just is what it is. This type of shit that happen in sport and professional sports. But, I'm not crying for, Coach Vogel. I'm pretty sure he'll get another opportunity, and he's still probably getting paid from the Lakers. But in my I mean, he probably is still getting paid by the Lakers now that I'm thinking about it, bro. Getting paid very swell by the Lakers. Yo. Just some random thought, because this really did just pop up in my head. You know what's a hideous animal to me, bro? A possum. A possum is an ugly animal, because it just looks like a big-ass rat. And another ugly animal to me is a squirrel, because that's just a small-ass rat with a big-ass bushy tail. Dead ass. I really feel those ways, and I done said my piece on that. But, yo, I'm going to tell you what's coming up on this show. Because I was thinking about this today. I was like, yo, it's almost that time for me to get back to my football talk. And I was thinking, how am I going to get back into the football, talk, the football landscape and whatnot? I'm going to go division by division, break down every team in that division's overall record on the year, predict their overall record, the wins and losses on their team. I hope I get through all the teams in the NFL. If I don't, you can talk shit in the comments or anything like that. It ain't gonna really bother me, but I hope I do get through all of them. What team I'm gonna start with? I'm not even gonna start with the Ravens. I'm not gonna start with the Ravens. If anything, I would hope the Ravens is last, because that means I went through all of the teams. Who do I want? What division am I going to start off with? It don't matter the division. The team I start with is going to be the division that I start with. I'm going to decide right now before I get off of this motherfucker who is going to be the team that I break down first. Oh, I know, bruh. It's a no-brainer. We starting with the motherfucking Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Chargers. Let's go, Chargers. Matter of fact, that's who I want to do first. The Chargers. Let's go, Chargers. Yeah, we breaking down the Chargers schedule. We're going to be predicting their wins and losses. And during that episode, because that's going to be a big episode. So, you know what? We probably doing all four of the teams that episode. That's going to be a long episode, I should say that. But it's going to be heavily football focused. We're going to be talking about every single team in that division. The Colts, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers, go Chargers, and the motherfucking Denver Broncos. So with that, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. That's not gonna start tomorrow though, because tomorrow I gotta do the breakdowns of the game 7s tomorrow. So that's obviously gonna be a big episode pertaining to those game 7s, and looking forward to the next games in the conference final series. So big episode in the NBA tomorrow. Monday's episode, however, is when we will start breaking down all the different divisions of the NFL. I appreciate you for joining me. I appreciate you for taking some time out of your day to kick it with me. Tell somebody that you fuck with them. Tell somebody that you love them. Give my Dukes a big kiss on the forehead. That pops up. Tell them that you fuck with them the long way. Saying out.
Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo.